Yes, farmers, Morris again from Enid Farms. As you can see me here, I'm in one of our pasture gardens. And today, farmers, I'm going to take you through the basic agronomic practices of how we can manage our pasture lands and how we can make sure that we have a lot of pastures at our farms, the way we can manage them such that we are feed secured at the farms. And because you should know that feeding is this major factor that that makes our farms grow, because you cannot have a farm without feeds. So as Enid Farms, we have a pasture management strategy to make sure that our goats have enough to eat, not only enough but have the right quantities of feeds, right quantity and quality of nutrients that our goats require for high production. So farmers, last time I showed you on the practices of how to plant the pastures. One of them was ridge farming. I will give you a reason why we should have ridge farming and why we should have and how we should make the ridges. First of all, you need to understand the slope, the topography of your garden. So that topography will give you a way of how to make ridges. So the ridges should be across the land, like what you are seeing here. Why do we do this? Because pastures need water. So once you plant on ridges, you are tapping out the water. And secondly, these pastures do not have deep roots. They are top feeders. They have prop roots. They do not have tap roots, like most of the plants. So one is that we make sure that when you are making the ridges, you are softening the soil such that these pastures have enough nutrients to take in. Their roots can be able to penetrate. So that is one other reason. Another reason is all about the planning and to make sure that you have proper field operations. So once you have bridges, it becomes easier for you to weed. It becomes easier for you to harvest the pastures. It becomes easier for you to identify where the pasture is not doing well than the normal broadcasting. So, and when you have ridges, it means you have already, the ridges should not be dug anyhowly. They should be on a straight line. We have dimensions. From one ridge to another, we make sure that at least you have your 2 feet or 3 feet to make sure that there is a way. And then it is also all about the types of pastures. Like here I have Citeria, I have Mulatto, and the spacing, like for Citeria, make sure that you have in between from one ridge to another ridge, you should have 2 feet, or to the maximum should be 2.5. Then from one plant to another, also make sure that you have 2 feet. So farmers, after proper planting and the way in my subsequent videos I showed you, make sure that you manage the garden very well. And one of the practices we do, as you see, is to make sure that we work on the issue of water retention. That's why we have the ridges. Secondly, we apply manure because we want to have a quality type of pastures. We make sure that we have quality. So for these pastures to come up very well, they should also eat very well. They should feed very well. So we make sure that our soils are rich of nutrients. So we first analyze the soil, we make sure that we do soil analysis and testing, we know the right nutrients we need. But mainly farmers, for us at the farm, we make sure that we use organic fertilization. So we have two ways of doing it. One is all about using liquid manure. I will also take you through the steps of having liquid manure, because we are at the farm. All the material to make liquid manure are available. So another thing is that we make compost manure. You will also see how to make compost manure at your farm. So at the time of planting, make sure that you apply the compost manure. Then when these pastures have come up from the ground, after like 3 weeks, 1 month, you do a liquid fertilization. You spray them with liquid manure, and the advantage is the liquid manure is going to add nutrients. Secondly, it is also it works as a repellent, because we have improved our liquid manure. We make sure that also we put in the content of pesticides. So that's why our pastures are healthy. We have leguminous pastures, we have these permanent pastures which are healthy without any attack of pesticides, fungicides, and even viri, and even bacterial infections. So that's what we do. And then when you fertilize, these pastures of ours grow with vegans. They're able to resist the diseases, and on top of that, they add nutrients in the soil. So that's a major managerial factor that you must consider when you are organizing a pasture strategy, when you are having a pasture land. And then after, make sure that you weed earlier weeding. Don't wait for other weeds to overpower them, because weeds will outcompete, because you will have fertilized and other unwanted plants will come up, and then they will suppress your pastures. Make sure that you weed on time, and make sure that you observe the garden. Don't wait for the weeds to overpower your pastures. Do early weeding. After like 3 to 1 month, when these pastures have established, you weed again, and at least do it like 3 times. When they have established very well, the weeding will reduce, especially for the napier. Once it has grown up, it will suppress other weeds. So now for you who are, if you have a leguminous pasture land, make sure that you do constant weeding, constant fertilization. Then once you have such, because on top of spraying, especially like napier, you cannot even do fertilization using the spray method. So we do top dressing. So top dressing is that you get that processed manure from what you have made, and you come and apply around the garden, such that, and when you are applying it, don't leave it on the surface. Make sure that you open. We have around 3 methods. One is all about the ring method. Make sure that you apply manure around the plant, but don't apply directly at the base of the plant. Make sure that you, for instance this one, the roots are this side. Make sure that you make a space and apply. So around, that is the ring method. Then also we have spot method, whereby you make a small hole, you apply manure here. This pasture will benefit, and also this one will benefit. Because you may ask now, how will this plant which is here benefit from the manure which is here? Naturally, even the plant will look for the food, so it will know that by nature, and that is biology, these roots will tend towards the place where the manure is, and they will tap the nutrients from there. So this is all about how to fertilize at spot, and then also using ring method. And again, if you have enough and which is well processed, apply across the whole you mix it with soil throughout the whole ridge. And that's why I was telling you that ridge farming, all line and with coupled with line planting, will make work easier for you, and then there will be no competition. The pastures will grow healthier, and the moment they grow healthier, you will have plenty, you will have the right nutrients. Then on top of that, farmers, you do field scouting. What is field scouting? You look for deficiencies and diseases. Sometimes these pastures, most of them like maize, various diseases. So make sure that you do constant field scouting, that is monitoring and identification of diseases. The moment you get them, treat them using our liquid manure. Don't use the artificial pesticides or artificial fertilizers, because also they can pose a risk to the animals. So farmers, once you have these pastures, also make sure that you have the right you make sure that you harvest them properly. So that is all about post-harvest handling. Don't make sure that you harvest at the right time and in the right place and with the right equipment. So harvesting is also easier when you have the ridges, because you can pass through. And when you're passing through around the ridges, you are not compacting the soil here. You are passing through being along aside the ridges, and you are not affecting the soil here. So when you are harvesting, different pastures are harvested at different times. But now when you apply, when you do all these practices I've told you, the pasture which was supposed to mature at 1 month, within 3 weeks or 2 weeks, you will be able to harvest for your goats or for your animals. So now during post-harvest handling, harvest at the right time. Make sure that you harvest when the pastures are ready. Because like for instance, if you harvest when the pastures are young, like these ones, your goats may have issues of diarrhea. Most of the farmers, especially during the rainy season, when pastures are establishing, when they are still young, goats eat them and they develop bloat, they develop diarrhea because of eating very young pastures. So make sure that they have reached the maturity. For Napier, make sure that they are the height. That's how we identify them. The height is when it has grown. The right time is when it is like 1.5 meter or 1 meter. Harvest and harvest in the evening. Keep them. Use proper methods. Use the right machines, sharp pankers, cut very well and cut at the base. After cutting at the base, why? Because if you cut anyhowly, there will be no sprouting. You'll be destroying the sprouting. So make sure that you cut at the base. After cutting, go and process the pastures. We process pastures through making silage, making hay, and also keeping them in a safe place. So farmers, join us and make sure that you have the right pasture strategy. So our pasture strategy involves the basic agronomic practices, the right number, the pastures that you are supposed to have at the farm, the basic pastures. So farmers, thank you. Come to our farm and come at least for a visit. See how pastures are grown. Sometimes when you plant pastures, people laugh at you that, hey, this person is failing to grow crops for consumption. It's just planting grass, but these are crops. If I can cut and I feed my goat, and my goat grows up faster with the right nutrition, and when it's not having issues of limited feeding, and I sell it, then I'm like the other person who has planted beans. Thank you, farmers. I remain Morris, Me Farms. Thank you.